Let's do a close-up so you guys can actually start to see the layers of the nail and understand how to clip them so you don't hurt your dog and so that you actually start to recede the quick, because most pet dogs actually have overgrown nails. So I'm sure that many of you will need to do this. All right, so what we're doing when we're cutting the nail, we actually don't really want to spend time cutting the bottom. That's where most of the nerves are located. And when you're trying to shorten the overall nail, if you spend too much time on the bottom, you're gonna end up making your dog's paws sore, and you might even hurt them while you're clipping. So first I want you to be paying attention to how tiny of the little pieces that I'm taking off. I really like to err on the side of caution. So instead of focusing on the bottom of the nail, I'm actually gonna focus on the top part here and the sides, which seems counterintuitive, but I'm gonna link in the description below to some more information about nail growth and something called the alternative cut line. And cutting the tops and the sides is really how we're gonna get that quick to recede. All right, so first take a look at how tiny the pieces are. So I'm just barely trying to shave off the little pieces. And one thing you might want to aim for is for it to look like confetti. That's what the trimming should look like. So you're not taking off big chunks of nail, which even if you're sure you're not close to the quick, which is sort of hard to tell, even if your dog has light colored nails, then you're still causing a lot of stress to the nail, and you might still end up hurting your dog, even if you are really far away from the quick. So I'm gonna keep cutting along the top edge, and I want you guys to keep looking at the little pieces. I hope you can see. Look how tiny the pieces are, and look at where I'm cutting. I'm cutting along the top of the nail. So if you can see, there are many layers to a dog's nails. So the black part that you see on the outside is the hard part. And if you touch it with your finger, it's really hard. That's the horn that grows around the outside. As you get closer and closer to what is sometimes called the jelly bean layer, which is a soft layer that houses the actual quick, you're gonna start to see a little chalky white outline. So you can sort of see that white part. There's the black part here, and then inside is this whitish part. So what I'm trying to get down to when I'm trying to recede the quick is the jelly bean layer. So it's sort of soft, and I'll show you once I get there. You can touch it and it deforms. So right now I'm pressing on this and it's still hard, so I still have some space to go. All right, so I'm continuing to shave off little pieces. All right, so where I am right now is on the bottom edge here of what I'm clipping off. It's soft, so I'm gonna see it's just barely getting to the jelly bean layer. But I don't think you guys can see this, but I'm actually pressing my nail in, and it goes in a little bit into that layer, whereas up here, we're still in that hard layer. So what I'm gonna do, I'm so close to there that I'm having a hard time even grabbing with the clippers. So I'm gonna move to a file and keep on filing the top edge of the nail and the sides. The file that I'm using has two sides. It has a heavy duty 100 grit and a 180 grit, which is for smoothing out. So I use the rougher side to actually take off layers of nail. And by the way, if your dog is not familiar with this, you may have to start with just that and treat. That and treat. And some dogs are pretty sensitive to this sound. So you just want to work at your dog's pace. I'm going to keep filing, and I'm close, remember, as I said, so I want to make sure that I'm checking periodically, especially since these files can actually take off in a surprising amount. All right, so here you can see the alternative cut line. I'm focusing more on having like a 45-degree angle from the top of the nail. And I will say, when we first started trimming, as you can see, some of these other nails we've done trims on before, and you can also see the alternative cut line there. So all I want you guys to see is the angles are not quite what you're used to. So if you can take a look at this other nail here too. You see how I have taken off some of the bottom just because it was so long. So we've slowly worked on having the bottom part come up as well. But we're making sure that when we get on the bottom, we don't really want to expose the jelly bean layer, or that soft part where your nail can go into, on the bottom, because that can actually cause soreness. That's where most of the nerves are located. So you're trying to get to the jelly bean layer from the alternative cut line. You can see that we weren't able to get much off of the sides here. So that would be the next step. And again, you know, Zuko's not done with his training. So we don't get to just trim all the nails as far as we want all the time. You can see here on this one, I started to try to get the sides a little bit more this time, but I didn't get quite as much as I wanted to. So anyways, that is what the alternative cut line looks like, and that is how you actually get the dog's quicks to recede. And again, your goal is that you don't hear ticking when they walk inside. I'm not talking about trotting or running, because that has a different gait, but when they're walking, you shouldn't hear any ticking on the ground. All right, see you guys next time.